Hello, welcome to another episode of Talking Rangers. Today is Wednesday, September 18th. It is episode 37, and the New York Rangers are almost back. Training camp is underway. Peter Laviolette spoke today. Chris Drury spoke yesterday. So you got GM and the head coach speaking. Preseason games start this weekend. Rangers will be in Boston to face the Bruins on Sunday to open up the preseason, the first of 6 games there, and then they'll open up the season here in a couple weeks. I think actually, 3 weeks from tonight, Wednesday night, October 9th? Is that
It's the
3 weeks
ninth.
from now? I think so.
Yeah.
When they'll open up the season in Pittsburgh on Wednesday night, then they'll come home Saturday, October 12th will be their home opener against Utah. So lots of exciting things coming up. Hockey's essentially back. Long off season after the tough ending to last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Ranger look to bounce back here as the regular season gets closer. Joe, a lot to discuss today on the podcast, kind of a training camp preview. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Like we were talking before, we got on. It was a long off season, but kind of wasn't. I mean, just because they got so far, but still feels long. You know, the dog days of summer finally over. We're finally into the fall, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, next couple of weeks are going to be big for some of these guys in the roster. So be curious to see what they do. But just hopefully everybody stays healthy, and they get a good look at all the guys that they need to get looks on. But should be a fun season, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. These next couple weeks, I think the most important thing, as you said, any sport really is just staying healthy. Get to the regular season healthy, get to the regular season ready to roll. Couple roster things that the New York Rangers will have coming up here in terms of roster competition. Obviously, Othman, Brett Berard, some guys fighting for roster spots, see if they fit in anyway. Even Matt Rempe as well, see what he looks like. So definitely some of those underrated guys. And then, of course, how do the lines look? All that stuff will all be evaluated over the next couple weeks here as things really ramp up. Not really a ton in terms of substance from Drury and Laviolette about the team. A lot of the same old. But there was a couple things that we will talk about. They both kind of mentioned some of the contract stuff with Igor and Lafreniere, which we'll get to here in a little bit. They also talked a little bit about Trouba. Both talked about Kakko. I guess we could start with Kakko because why not? And we could also get into Riley Smith, who both of them seem pretty high on Riley Smith. And maybe I'm buying into Riley Smith as well. But I guess we'll start with Kakko. I know we talked about him a little bit in the last episode, but I guess going into camp here, things start to get real for him as a guy that really needs to prove himself right from the jump this season, because if he doesn't, you could be looking at a guy that maybe is being dealt by the deadline if things don't work out early this year. So just how important it is for him, and even just not only just for him, but also the Rangers for him to take a jump, not even just from Kaapo Kakko himself to try and get his career turned around, but also he needs to be ready to roll because he is if he can play well, it's a huge boost as well to this team.
I mean, I have two different opinions on him. I think he still has a lot of talent to his game, and he can still unlock a lot. But my thing is, one, he's either going to be really not bad, but same thing, underwhelming. Not going to really be that second overall pick. Going to put a lot of points up. If he's just going to be on the third line the whole season, I can tell you right now, if he plays the third line majority of the season, he will not have a great year, at least production-wise. Maybe he's good defensively. Maybe he does well along the boards and can be a solid third-line player, but I don't know what expectations people still have for him. I think he could still be a solid third-line player, but even so, I don't think he's going to produce that much on the third line as far as offensive production. But then there's another side where I think the way to get him going is, I think I've said this before, is to put him with Panarin and Trocheck. Get him that treatment that Lafreniere had last year. Get him a lot of looks with your two best offensive players, I think, at 5-on-5. Get him going. Get him a lot, like I said, a lot of ice time, 5-on-5, and I think you'll see him grow as a player, grow his offensive game, and you will see that development and that promise that he kind of showed early on, but, again, struggles, injuries, lack of playing time, all that kind of accumulates to what he is now. But I think he would need that. I don't even think him playing with Kreider and Zibanejad will bode well for him again, production wise, because we've been talking about this forever that anybody on that line usually sucks. And that line together sucks 5-on-5. But I think there's either two options. One, they give him a playing time, I think, with Panarin and Trocheck, or Panarin and someone else. I think that will kind of elevate his production. If not, I think he's going to be pretty underwhelming, and I think they're probably going to trade him.
Yeah, you make a good point. They've tried him, of course, on that first line. Hasn't done a whole lot. Missed some time last year, only the 61 games, 13 goals, 6 assists, 19 points. We all know he will never be the player that they drafted him to be with the second overall pick in 2019. Has shown flashes, but never anything good enough. I mean, you know how I feel on Kakko. Not a big believer,
Stock is
not
being
really
sold.
buying the stock down, selling Kakko stock.
Stoinks.
What do you say?
Stoinks.
Yeah. As opposed to buying it.
Stonks. Wait, is it stonks or is it stoinks? It's stonks. That meme, it's stonks.
For Kakko?
Stonks.
Kakko stonks?
Never mind.
But yeah, I mean, it's if you could try and of course put him up to, potentially with a guy like Trocheck or somebody like that to see if he can get elevated play like Lafreniere did last year. But I also think just Lafreniere is just a better player. So maybe I don't even know how much that would actually benefit him, because we were talking about this off stream. If Kakko was with Panarin and Trocheck last year, you think he would have had more points than Laf?
I don't know. I think he's like maybe a little bit. I'm not going to say luckier, but I just think I think he'd be able to get more assists. He definitely wouldn't score as much, but I think he'd definitely get more assists than Lafreniere. I think Lafreniere was more of that aggressive
scorer
shot guy, where he still had like even assists and point total, which like goals and assists. But I don't know. I think Lafreniere or Kakko would be pretty good if they were able to give him that opportunity. If I put my money on, it's not going to happen. I don't think he's going to have a big year, because I don't think he's going to get the treatment that he deserves as far as getting that opportunity where Lafreniere got it. But yeah, I think it's pretty much going to be disappointing, and I think he's going to get moved at the deadline.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think we all kind of said the same thing last year. Big year for him. Got hurt, never did anything when he was healthy. Got buried, and then you go into this year, it's the same thing. At this point, it's just, I mean, he's entering year 6 already. How much more do we need to see for us to just move on? Yeah,
Wait, no,
it is.
It's 6 or is it 7?
I think it's 6 because it's
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah.
Right, because 6.
Yeah. That's crazy that he's only like 6 years. Insane.
Yeah, you know what it's similar to? And this might sound like a dumb analogy, but it's similar to like the Daniel Jones conversation with the Giants. Same thing.
No, it's not similar, because they paid so much money. They didn't pay Kakko.
Yeah, I know they haven't paid him, but there's still fans out there hoping, oh, year 6 he could take a jump. Year 6, like this is it.
It's like Zach Wilson. It's like Zach Wilson.
I mean,
he
only got to year 3.
That's more comparable. Like both of them, you got a lot of people still liking him as a second
timeline wise. It's more comparable to either way. It doesn't matter. But the point is, year 6, I don't think you're going to see much of a jump. You've seen flashes. Last year, you could say was arguably one of his most disappointing years, just based off of where he is in his career now. And then I know the injury didn't help, but I think this coaching staff too, I don't think anybody's really in love with him. So.
He's been hurt the last 2 out of 3 years. He's missed pretty significant time. I mean, the 1 year with the hand injury, last year with the leg injury, and he was pretty solid when he played the whole year in 22, 23. He actually played? I don't know if you remember. They had him, or Gallant had him as the 6th attacker.
Now I will say this, and it could. This part too about Kakko is where it could benefit both sides at some point, is if they do decide to move on. At let's just say at the deadline, is you look at Kakko's perspective. If it's just not going to work here in New York, not going to be able to live up to the number 2 overall pick billing, which we all know, but even just be a solid potential third, second line player will never happen. Either way, it could be a win-win just for the organization and Kakko if they do end up moving on, because the Rangers would move on from him. He gets a new spot elsewhere, maybe an opportunity for more playing time. And then the Rangers could get an opportunity to bring in a guy via trade who helps them win now. So I think that too is also part of it, where it just makes sense for both sides to eventually move on this year and get something for him. But we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. We'll see. But I think most people have got to be right about Kako. Now, another guy they talked about a little bit and seemed to be somewhat excited about is Riley Smith. I know this isn't the most exciting move of them all for the Rangers, but Peter Laviolette said today, and I know a lot of this is coaches speak, but he said proven to be a successful and a winner, and talked about how training camp in terms of first line right wing will feature different looks. He'll obviously get some of those looks. Expectations for Riley Smith this year. The better version of Blake Wheeler, but how much better? I mean, I don't want to buy the Riley Smith stock, but I mean, is this going to be another one of these years again where we're talking about, I still can't believe we're talking about first line right wing in 2024, entering the 2024-2025 season. I still can't believe we're talking about this. And the second year in a row, we're talking about a guy that's
what happened to us
older near
getting
the end.
Gensel or Marchessault?
Yeah.
We got the
Kane.
less version of Marchessault.
Anybody. Here we are, though. Riley Smith.
Are you high on Riley Smith?
Here's my thing. Can he be as bad as what they dealt with last year? Can he be? There's no way.
He could be.
He can be. But what the Rangers dealt with last year, right? Kako, Blake Wheeler, Riley Smith can be better than both those guys.
Are we saying everyone or just the main guys? Because there was Wenberg, Roslovic, Kako, Wheeler, VC.
Main guys.
Hedl played a couple games with them. I'm pretty sure Brzezinski played a couple games with them.
Roslovic, I think you already mentioned him.
Dude, the Rangers' right wing position was like a sorority girl. It just kept, it was getting run through.
Yeah, but that
you like that joke?
Sure.
But like, all jokes aside, like it's been crazy.
No, it has been.
People.
It's been a revolving door at a position that it feels like they have ignored it in a way where they just bring in kind of rentals, right? Blake Wheeler's a rental, it's a rental. Roslovic was never the big move. He wasn't Gensel.
There's probably they probably tried like 20 different people ever since they lost Buchnevich. It's probably been at least 20 guys. I mean, Dryden Hunt, who else? Saving Play, Vitaly Krasov. Remember Vitaly Krasov?
And as we said too, is the Rangers part of this could be too, hey, you have to kind of look from a Kreider Mika perspective. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, are they a little bit of the problem?
They are the problem.
They are the problem.
I will die on that hill.
The Rangers will avoid to address that or avoid to admit that.
Nope, they won't. But I don't know.
But in terms of Riley Smith,
what are your expectations for him?
For Riley Smith?
Let's hear Riley expectations.
My thing is the bar is set so low.
You think? I think it's set pretty high for him.
Well, I'm saying I guess I should maybe reword that.
Like
the bar to be the best right wing that this team probably has had since Buchnevich is low.
Oh, okay, yeah. But expectations
I should have
pretty
reworded.
high.
I mean, can he be? He's better than Blake Wheeler he should be better than Blake Wheeler. 13 goals, 27 assists, 40 points last year. I mean, realistically, we're probably talking about right wing first week of the season being a problem.
What makes no sense though is that they literally got the exact opposite thing they needed for that spot. Like, he's not a shoot first guy. He's not great off the rush. He's a pass first defensive forward.
No, but
the other two players could do that just as well. Kreider
he's a winner. He's a winner.
You know who else is a winner? Barclay Goodrow. He's off the team. Barclay Goodrow's got more Stanley Cups than him. So,
I mean, yeah.
I don't have any. I don't think he's going to be good at all. I think he's going to be bad. I think at least for that kind of role, I think he could be a solid. Like, if you had him as your third line right winger, it's pretty good. First line right winger, not very good.
No, I agree. I mean, realistically, it's probably not going to work out. It feels like it's a better version of Blake Wheeler. How much better? That's obviously the question. 33 years old. He's coming off of a 13-goal season, which was his lowest since 2014, 2015. So from a goal scoring standpoint, not the best outlook. As for points, I mean, you look at his last couple seasons, 25, 38, 56, 40. So 40 was up there with his highest over the last 4 years, with the 27 assists, which is pretty good for his standards when it comes to over the last really couple
he's
of
an
years.
average player, even at his best. He's an average
Yeah. I
third
mean, at
line
his
player,
best, he
second
was,
line player. He's an average
yeah,
second. At his best, he was an average second line winger.
yeah. His best season was 60 points.
Yeah, I
Best
mean,
year.
he's not going to come near that. I think he's going to have
No.
like 35 points this year.
Yeah, you probably expect a dip. Maybe 11, 12 goals. I don't know. 12,
14
maybe.
assists.
Yeah, something like that.
He'll get into the 30s. He'll have over 20 assists probably if he is going to play with Crichton's advantage. Yeah, but dude, I'm not looking forward to those two players playing again. They were so bad last year.
Yeah.
I don't have any faith in Smith as a first line right winger. That's all I'm going to say.
Who do you have faith in the most?
To play that position,
Yes.
Lafreniere.
Lafreniere.
And then I put someone else with Panarin and Trocheck. But they won't do that, which makes no sense. I mean, you can't win. I don't want to ramble here, but you can't win with 1-5-5 line, and that's exactly what they had last year.
So you would essentially just move, and I know we talked about this, but Lafreniere first line, which I like.
Yeah.
Kakko second line, Riley, Smith third line.
Yeah, Cooley, Smith, and Hedel would be my third. No, you know what? That wouldn't be my third line. I would do Kreider, Hedel, Lafreniere, Panarin, Trocheck, Kakko, Zibanejad, Smith, and Cooley. That'd be my third line, but they won't do that.
No, they probably won't. The last thing they will do is probably break up Mika and Kreider.
Yeah, there's a better chance that they get McDavid than that.
It's a better chance that they do a lot of things than that. I was gonna say win the cup, but that doesn't really make sense. So that's the Riley Smith stuff. Just a couple of notes there. Jacob Trouba.
I don't have anything on Trouba. I got nothing on Trouba. I mean, he's great. He stays healthy, good. Not throw on the LTIR. I don't know. I don't have anything on him. I feel like we kind of discussed what we need to about him. He's on the team, maybe for the last year, but I don't have much to say. At least about the defense. I feel like the defense, you can maybe talk about Zach Jones, but I feel like there's not really much of talk about the defense because, there's really nothing that's that, I don't know, different. For the most part, it's pretty much the same. There's really not many differences that's going to happen from the playoffs or regular season. But as far as Trouba, I don't really have anything to say. I feel like what happened in the offseason, I think he's a professional, so I don't think he'll really hold a grudge.
Yeah. One guy I am curious to see, and I guess we could talk about this, then we can get into a couple contract stuff with Lafreniere and Igor. One guy I am interested in seeing is what Rempe looks like. And even some of the other guys, obviously Othman as well, Berard. Rempe has made it clear, had a very good offseason, it seems, that he wants to become more of an all-around player, not just a guy that's going to fly around and throw elbows at people, get ejected, and get into fights. I mean, I guess, do you think it's realistic to expect Rempe to become an all-around, like, good, solid fourth-line hockey player that's not just a big thumper, but a guy that can provide more with his game coming up this year?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like he's still pretty young. I don't think he's that bad of a skater. I think he can skate actually decently well. Just
for his size, he's good. Yeah,
he's a little awkward. Maybe he's not the best at cutting and turning, but I don't he's another player where it's like, I mean, what expectations can you really have for fourth line players?
Yeah,
he's a fourth line player. I mean, is he going to be a consistent NHL fourth line player? I don't know. I guess it all depends on how he develops his hockey game or his hockey skills outside of fighting, but I feel like he'll probably get a look just because he was on the team a lot last year, probably get a little bit more of a chance than other players. But I see him kind of being maybe around what he was, maybe a little bit better though, just because I think he was able to get an off season and training experience this year, playing a lot, played some playoff games. So
yeah, I agree. Now I guess we could kind of move on to just the contract stuff. Obviously Igor will probably look to become the highest paid goaltender at the end of this year. Lafreniere as well would be in for a new contract. Do you want to start with Igor?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people kind of know my opinion on that. I just don't think it's smart to pay him $12+ million, $11+ million when the team hasn't succeeded with paying him or with paying a goalie like that with Lundqvist. Now you're going to pay him after years of where his best at 5.6 or whatever still wasn't good enough. So now his best is going to be probably around the same. I don't think he's in a dip. I think he could get maybe a little bit better. But now you're talking about losing $6-7 million off the cap, and that's going to hurt the team. I think you're going to lose a player. So I just don't think it makes sense to kind of pay a goalie top dollar like that when you have other holes on your team. And if you look around the league, it's clear that you can win with a good goalie, not an elite goalie. You don't need an elite goalie to win. He can steal series, but he's not winning.
Yeah.
The cup. He can beat teams that maybe we shouldn't beat, but at the end of the day, it's hard to do that multiple series in a row. I mean, you could say kind of didn't really steal the Hurricane series just because it was close and we were getting all these 1-goal wins, but he held the ground for a lot of those games where like the Hurricanes maybe win a couple of those games if he doesn't play that well, but then you can just see it fade towards the end of the Panthers series where we're just getting dominated and he's got to completely stand on his head. That's not sustainable. And I think you need a better roster, regardless of who your goalie is. I don't know. I don't think it's smart to pay him that much. And if, like I said, you look at other teams that have won, they don't pay their goalie that much. And then the outlier kind of is Bobrovsky. But we were talking about this before. Like, he wasn't the key cornerstone of the team. Like, he was just another player. He was average in the playoffs. He made some good saves, but for the most part, he was just average. Yeah. And he wasn't their best player. I mean, you're paying Igor right now. He is the best player, and you're going to pay him as the best player. I think, like I said, that's going to kind of weaken the team as far as contract-wise. I mean, do I want him on the team? Yeah. I mean, he's the best player, arguably one of the best players in the league, best player on the team, but he's shown that he's consistently good in the playoffs. But like I said, you're going to lose money by paying him. So I just don't think it's very smart just because, like I said, you look at the Lundqvist era, it's kind of like the same thing. I think they're going to pay him. We'll see how much. I think I'd be okay with anything under 11 million.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I think he's going to want, 11, 12. He's obviously highest paid. I mean, the whole goalie conversation the last couple of years has become that you really don't need an elite goaltender to win. I mean, you look at the goalies in the finals this year, especially for Edmonton. Bobrovsky's obviously good, but not the reason they won. I think Igor, the biggest thing I guess from a Rangers fan, I'm kind of in the middle. I see both angles of it. I wouldn't be, I guess, super upset with either happening if they do decide to move on and allocate money elsewhere, or if they decide to throw it at him and potentially, lose money elsewhere, or lose guys elsewhere, where they can't afford other pieces. But obviously the whole Rangers thing is, I mean, I know we talked about this off air, but they've been really having great goaltending for the last 20 years, but that's about it. And it hasn't gotten them anywhere. It's gone them to one cup and that's it. And a whole lot of conference finals and a whole lot of playoff exits where other teams were just a lot more physical than them, had a lot more offensive power than them. And despite having elite goaltender, they couldn't get it done. I mean, you look at that, I always go back to 2021, 2022. I mean, Vasilevsky and Igor were in the playoffs. We're in the Final Four. And the guy that comes out of the Final Four is Darcy Kemper. If that doesn't tell you some of what you need to know about.
Who was the goalie on the Oilers that year? It wasn't Skinner.
I think it was
it Talbot? Or was it maybe it was Koskinen?
Let me see.
Well, whoever it wasn't good. So yeah, there's two goalies.
Skinner.
It was Skinner in 2022. Okay, yes. But he's not very good. So he's not good. Look at
and here he was again.
Yeah.
Right. Here he was again. Playoffs. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Skinner didn't play in the playoffs. He was on the team, but he didn't play.
I thought it was like that Mikko Koskinen.
It was Mike Smith.
Mike Smith. Exactly. Mike Smith. Like, come on.
Last year. Right? I think it was his last year.
Terrible. And he gets the conference final. And Igor plays out of his mind. And he just gets the conference final. So
the difference was Edmonton, I believe, got swept in that series, I think.
They might have.
And obviously the Rangers ended up losing at 6, as we all know. So the difference was what, 2 games? Either way,
Wow.
Mike
Yeah.
Smith and
Wow.
Igor were hitting up Cancun at the same time.
Yeah.
But then again, you go to the point of he's elite goaltender. If you find a way to get some physicality here and there, more gritty, and the guys in front of him step up, then, you're looking at this completely differently. I guess if they win the cup this year, do you hand him the bag?
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't matter at that point. You already got what you needed.
Yeah.
Just pay everybody their dues.
Yeah. I just don't see. I guess this is part of my opinion too. This kind of goes into my opinion. I just don't see a world where the Rangers don't sign him. Like I
Yeah.
just don't.
I don't. I think he's
I
going to be
doubt that
signed.
happens, and that's why I kind of in the boat of accepting it and being okay if they sign him, and kind of being like, all right, I'm okay with it, not against it, because I just doubt this is going to happen. They've obviously Lundqvist was here forever. You've had great goaltending. They're going to kind of keep this along the line of just having great goaltender for a very, very long time. Now, Lafreniere is another one that will be up after this year. Extension. I think that the date was July 1st is when he could start negotiating. Obviously, didn't start negotiating, so he'll be going into this season without a contract. What are your thoughts on the Lafreniere deal? What it could look like? And big year for Lafreniere. I mean, if he goes out there and dominates and plays well, obviously I know you posted on the Twitter account, but Lucas Raymond signing was kind of interesting to see where Lafreniere's market could be at the end of this year. That contract, thoughts on it?
I think he's going to have a monster season. I think he might
23.
come close to it. Like it kind of is like the same thing as Kako, where instead of playing with like a guy like Panarin or Trocheck, I think he just is kind of my prediction or what my thoughts of how well his season is going to be. It's just is if he's going to play the first power play. If he does, I think he can go 45 goals. I think he can go like 45, 45.
Yeah.
I think he could score like 90 points if he gets that much playing time, especially on the power play. But as far as contract wise, he's probably going to get around what Slavkovsky got, maybe a little bit more. He's probably going to be in the low eights, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8.125,
Yeah.
8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get around that.
Yeah. Raymond's was 8 years, 64.6. So
he got a little less than what I think Cocker's going to get. Or
yeah.
Lafreniere. He got around, I think, 7 million maybe.
Yeah. Right around that mark. Yeah, I think Lafreniere is in for a huge season. Last year, 57 points, of course, 28 goals, 29 assists. You're looking at.
He dominated in the playoffs. Let's be like he was. You could argue was their best player.
Was excellent. I think. I think you're looking at similar to you. Probably what you said, 45, 45.
Yeah, I think he can come close to 90 points.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely over 40 goals. I think is should be hit without a doubt. I mean, and last year, if we're being honest,
that can be your Bubbs' big lock of the year.
Bubbs' big lock of the year,
over 39.5 goals.
Over 50?
49.5, you think?
50 goals for Lafreniere?
Nah, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he's got that great of a shot.
I make that bet. I mean, if we're being honest, though, last year, he probably could have had 35 goals, 37
I think he'd
goals.
be like a 0.5 goal a game player. I think he can go around. I think he'll be around like 41, 42 goals.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say 40 goals, somewhere around the 40 assist mark.
I'd say 42 goals, 40 assists. I think he's like right at a point a game.
Yeah, I think that's
which is around what he's probably going to get as far as contract wise, where it's comparable. Where he's like I said, low $8 million per year,
and he's only going to get better too. I mean, this would be a trend. Ideally, it's a trend, right? He'll be 23 years old when he signs the deal because he's 22 now. He turns 23 in October. And ideally, 90-point guy. You get a 90-point guy for the next 8 years. This is just a start for him entering year 5. So, it would be a smart contract. It would be. I think it's an obvious contract to make, and a contract that they probably will make. I doubt they let him go, especially if Kakko doesn't work out. I think there's kind of a part of the Rangers that you want to prove one of these draft picks at least panned out.
Well, he did pan out, I think, though.
He did, but
I don't really think. I think he kind of silenced all like the question marks. Where now I just think he's got to go and just, I guess, do it again and then like keep elevating.
Yeah. No, I agree. This year, yeah, you want to get off to a good start this season, want to have a good year. Don't want last year to just be
But
kind
my
of
thing with him,
lazy.
it's not even the regular season. I was just really impressed of how well he was able to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's a gamer. That's what we need. Because a lot of the guys on our team go ghost in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, what? How many guys actually played well in the playoffs? Lafreniere, Trocheck.
4, Lafreniere, Trocheck, Igor, and your boy, Barkley Goodrow.
Yeah.
Which I heard a lot of bad things about him. Where like, oh, like his defensive play wasn't great, but I mean,
he was scoring. He was
scored a
finding ways.
bunch of big goals.
Yeah.
I can offset the maybe not being great in his
Please
role.
spare me. I don't want to hear the Gaudreau defense stuff. Jacob Trouba's on the team, please.
Yeah.
That's not his job.
A little harsh on him, even with like how well he was doing offensive wise. But yeah, I think you could say he was pretty solid. But like, you want to just zero in, you can pretty much say those 3 guys. I mean, yeah.
I'll tell you what, Gaudreau, man, that's just the worst. I mean, I don't know if I want to say I feel bad because it's a professional athlete. He's making millions, but I mean, and it's not like he was he was a legendary Ranger that I have a Barkley Gaudreau jersey, and I feel awful that he's finally gone. No, he was here for 3 years, and if we're being honest, I mean, last year he was awful in the regular season, good in the postseason, but awful for the 80 games that he played. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I feel bad for him, a Ranger great, but talk about getting the roll under the stick. You play well in the playoffs in New York City for the New York Rangers, and now you're in San Jose with a team that's.
I mean, at least he's already lived there and probably knows the air well. So I mean,
This point in his career,
maybe he can just fiend off of Macklin Celebrini. Maybe he plays with Will Smith and Celebrini. That's a first line, and he puts up like 50 points next year.
And the San Jose Sharks make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Over under 2.5 years till the Sharks are back in the playoffs.
Over.
Yeah. I agree. It's going to take a long time.
I think 3 is a good year to kind of look. They got some good young players, though.
Get another lottery pick. Suck. Then it'll be them and the Blackhawks. Salabrini and Berard
are going to go at it for years.
Run the league for the next. Get our cup. We got to get our cup in now.
It's true. Yeah.
Because it's going to be over.
I feel like the East doesn't have as many young teams.
No, not at all. I mean, Bruins, Rangers.
Even the Devils aren't young. I feel like they're kind of like the Devils are just getting into like they're already kind of into the like their players kind of like primes. Where they do have some young players, but like the other teams in the West are just loaded where like all young guys everywhere.
Yeah. No, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, the Devils, they have some young guys.
Yeah, but I mean, Palat, Hughes, Bratt, Meyer, Hamilton, Markstrom, Pesci, those guys aren't that young. Luke Hughes kind of is, or Jack Hughes kind of is, but then yeah, they have like Luke Hughes and Nemec.
Hughes is only 23.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess all right, you can argue Hughes, I guess, but like a lot of the
I know
guys
he's been in the league for 5 years.
Yeah, I mean that's what I kind of mean, where these guys have played a while already.
Yeah,
they don't have a lot of.
He doesn't really play a style that's gonna wear him down by 30.
No, he definitely does. Jack Hughes, yeah, he won't be effective. I don't think he's gonna be very effective in a couple of years.
Really?
Not a couple of years, but he's
so
not gonna be able to play in his mid.
You're gonna start to see You're gonna see Jack Hughes.
No, not his play. Just he's just not built like it's just the way he's built.
Oh yeah, his size. Yeah,
his longevity is not. His longevity is not going to be a lot. I think he'll be an elite player for years, but I just think he's going to break down with injuries because he's just not built well enough.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying in terms of like his style of game.
If he's healthy, yeah, okay, yeah. He should be able to be effective, yeah, because he doesn't take a lot of hits. But when he does take hits,
he's not a physical player. Yeah. But no, yeah, I mean when he gets hit, he gets knocked around because he's what 5'11", 170, whatever he is.
He's not very big.
But yeah, you make a good point. There isn't much young talent in the East.
As far as like fully young teams,
I mean, heck, even Toronto, like they're not really.
They're just built. I'm saying teams that are just like built like mostly like prospects and like are all just like coming up right now. Where like there's like a bunch of teams out west that have that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of. I guess it balanced itself out. Like the Rangers are built to win now. The Florida's built to win now. I mean, they won. Tampa win now. I mean, they've already won. Toronto win eventually. I mean, they've been built to win
Nah.
now forever, but they don't. Boston's kind of passed. Pittsburgh's passed. Washington's passed. The Islanders, I don't know. They're past, I guess, their 2-year run to the conference final. Although I don't know. I think the Islanders, I mean,
You think the Islanders are sneaky good?
they got 94 points last year, losing all these overtime games. I don't think they got worse. If
Yeah, but
they
maybe
go
some of
out,
those games don't go to overtime though.
yeah, if half those games go in overtime, don't go in overtime. Half those games, if they just win half those overtime games, they're a 100+ point team. I don't think they got worse this offseason. I like the Duclair pickup.
They get older.
They get older, but I mean, so did the Rangers. I'm not saying the Rangers would be better than the Islanders. I'm just saying. I think the Islanders they'll probably be a playoff team again. I could see it.
Any bold predictions for who makes the team? You think anybody you think yes or no for Othman?
No.
Berard?
No.
What about Edstrom?
No.
Johnny Brodzinski?
No.
Damn. So who's gonna be the 13th forward?
Well, no, Brodzinski probably will.
Probably instead of Edstrom. So you definitely have Rempe making the team.
Yeah, Rempe will make the team. I think they like Rempe. I think Rempe got a lot better. I'll go, yeah, Rempe over Edstrom.
So you don't see Othman. So what happens with Othman? He's in year 5, post 5th year. He's going to I think his 4th or 5th year, like after
you
his
think
draft,
Othman
right?
makes the team?
21, 22, 23. This is his 4th year outside of his draft. He's got to make the team, I think.
Do you think he makes it?
I think they'll put him on the team just because it's like another Rangers draft pick thing where they don't want to be wrong. So I think he will make the team, but I think he's going to play like the 4th line, which is stupid. I would have traded him, but I don't know. I feel like they kind of handcuffed him with him where they didn't really give him a chance.
Play him early, boost up his trade value.
They could do that
with Kakko.
Othman and Kakko for McDavid.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So yeah, it's pretty
McDavid's gonna happen like 2028.
They pretty much ran it back, right? I mean, like I said,
yeah, it's the same team.
They got rid of Wheeler and you brought in Smith, and then you got rid of Gaudreau and you brought in Carrick. It's the same exact team.
Now it's time to win.
And then you got rid of Gustafsson, and then Jones is going to play.
Let's win some games.
But yeah, I guess training camp starts tomorrow, so hopefully Hedl doesn't fall in the puck bag and hit his head.
Hedl, healthy Hedl. We need a healthy Hedl.
I have high expectations for Hedl. So,
any closing thoughts?
No, I feel like training camp pretty much underway. They got a couple games coming up next week. You got a game on Sunday. Hopefully, like I said, they look good. I'm curious to see what happens with the kids. See how they kind of respond. Where Kakko, is he going to be better? Lafreniere, is he going to be better? Kakko, is he going to solidify himself?
Mm-hmm.
Can Hedl stay healthy? What will Cooley be? What's going to happen with Othman? But I feel like for the most part, all the veterans, there's really no new storylines about any of them. They're all going to pretty much do the same thing.
Yep.
Same thing every year.
It's going to be the same thing every season. The Rangers got to find a way to win in the playoffs.
Yeah, the regular season this year is just.
The regular season is going to be brutal this year.
I don't know. I don't think I've said this on air, but we're talking off air. I think that they're going to start off bad. That's my prediction for the year. They're going to start off struggling, and then they're going to have to come at the end of the year, midway of the year, and turn it around.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to kind of turn around at the All-Star break. They'll make some moves, and they'll get things turned around. Yeah, this year is going to be, I think, bumpy. It's just going to be a long regular season. Like last year, even the Knicks perspective. Like last year, everybody went all in. This is 1994. This is it, and it didn't happen. Now this year, it's just like you can't even say that.
I wonder what do you think the regular season would have felt like this year if they won? Would it have been like who cares? You know, like everything.
To be honest, I don't know because I've never experienced the championship, so I don't know even how I would feel this season after winning. I mean, you would still care. I think going in you wouldn't care, but if they start losing games, you would probably like care. I mean, you wouldn't care during the regular season. You care in the playoffs. If they won the Stanley Cup and then the next year they lost in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, I'd personally be pretty upset.
I would not care.
I would care. That
So
I would care. Not like as much as I cared, but that you get to one game away from getting back to the cup, no matter which way you view it, that'd be painful. Even if you win the cup the year prior. So how many years is it for you until you like lose the cup? Or
like when it kind of just like resets?
See, me, it's probably 2 years.
I don't know. Like,
after like 2 years.
Because I said, I mean, I saw like the Yankees win, but I was like,
I've never witnessed my team win. I would say it all depends on the state of the team. Like if the Rangers win the cup and then like blow it up, or whatever, guys start to retire, all that stuff, guys start to be washed, whatever.
I'd say the honeymoon period or whatever would last like 7, 8 years, maybe.
What?
Maybe 10 years. Maybe 10.
10 years?
Just because it's a team that hasn't won in such a long time.
Yeah, but you can't tell. Oh, no.
I think
it would be.
I think
it would be like 2 years probably for me.
7, 8 years. 7 or 8 years, I'd be okay.
So you would be like for 7 to 8 years, you would be okay with them sucking or them going to the playoffs and losing.
I wouldn't care either way.
See, I could maybe take 7 to 8 years of at least playing competitive hockey, getting into the playoffs. I don't think I could take 7 to 8 years of them being irrelevant.
I don't know if they win. Like I give them like 7 years.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I would. Again, I've never witnessed my team win, so I don't know how I would feel. I don't know. I might say to myself, I don't care if they never win again.
That's going to be like with the Jets, though, right?
Yeah, it's similar with the Jets. If the Jets win,
when the Jets win, when Aaron Rodgers is holding up the Vince Lombardi trophy.
How many Canyon Heroes trips are we? I mean, I feel like we've been saying it every year now. What are we going to get? Yankees this coming up here in November.
I actually think the Yankees are going to win.
This is their best year. In terms of like the American League, how weak it is, this is the Yankees' best year. If the Yankees don't win this year, they'll never win.
Funny if it'd be funny if the Yankees beat the Astros and then lose in the World Series. That'd be funny.
No, it would not. That would be more painful than losing to the Astros. Getting to the World Series and losing. There is nothing more painful than getting to the championship and losing.
Nothing. I know. I've seen my team go to the championship twice. The Rangers in 2014 and the Yankees in 2009. That was it.
Yeah. Well, you're 1-1.
Yeah, but like I said, I was 7. So let's be honest.
I don't remember either of those.
I don't remember anything.
I don't recall either of those. So
the only thing I can recall from that is I remember A-Rod hit like a camera with one of his home runs, and it was like a big deal because that was like the first time they had replay or something. That's the only thing I remember.
Hideki Matsui.
I don't even remember Matsui like going off. I know he won the MVP, but like I said, I was 7.
So you're gonna get a Yankees parade, Jets parade, Rangers parade, Knicks parade.
It'll be dude. We were 1 year off on the 94.
Yeah, we're just
Like, come on, that was too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers are going to go through adversity this year, injuries, not a great season.
Hey,
oh no!
Hold on, Sam Rosen's last year.
Sam Rosen legacy run.
I can't even.
They should have all the games on ESPN.
Sam Rosen legacy run. That's it right there. That's the salute. It's Sam Rosen legacy run.
It's gonna happen. That's sad though. Yeah, I don't think we talked about that. That's sad because we've only heard Rosen.
Yeah, that's all.
Are you gonna replace him?
No, I don't know who's gonna replace him. I mean, you've got
It's gonna be Albert.
Yeah, probably Kenny Albert, which is fine. Kenny Albert's really good.
Yeah, I like Kenny Albert
as long as it's not
McDonough.
Yeah,
I'd never.
As long as they don't drag him away from ESPN.
I would never
listen to Sean McDonough I'd rather listen to Sean McDonough in spurts and in the
He's
playoffs
not
than
bad at
82 games
football.
in the
Like
regular
he
season.
calls the college games. He's not too bad at football. Like
No, it's not. He's
you
terrible.
know, like the
I
one
don't really
call
think
is
he knows how to call hockey.
because
He can't
rambles
get back.
on. He's not in the play. He's not in the game or like in during. He's not
He's
in the
not
play. He's like talking to freaking.
And you got freaking Ray Ferraro.
They're just
Ray
yapping the
Ferraro
whole
between
time
the
about some
benches.
stupid ass story, and like they don't. He's not
They're
very good.
too conversational for a hockey game.
Way too
Hockey
like
game, you got to be pretty.
football you can because you have like the breaks during like each
Yeah,
play
and
and stuff.
baseball, of course, it's all about the conversations, really.
He's not good at hockey.
Hockey,
I
you've got to be. Yeah, hockey, you've got to be pretty cut and dry from a broadcasting standpoint because there's no dead time, really. You can't be having conversations middle of the game, then they score, and then 20 minutes later say, oh, and a goal.
He's so bad. The only time he gets up for calls is when like Zibanejad scores. He's like, Miguel Zibanejad. That's
The
it.
all-time leading tackler in the history of the
Yeah, he
Chiefs.
does voice crack a lot too. Like I was watching the clip I
Yeah.
posted today about Lafreniere when he scored that goal. He'd be like, Lafreniere. Dude, he has like such a bad voice crack. But yeah, my favorite call of McDonough is the trouble with the snap. Have you ever seen that? The Michigan
Which one
State
was that?
Michigan game. It was Michigan State Michigan, and the punter. You've never seen this? The
Oh,
punter
yeah. The one
fumbles
where
the
he,
snap.
fumbles it and they pick it up, and Michigan
Yeah,
State picks it up.
trouble with the snap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
there's
he's
that Michigan fan like this.
yeah. It's so funny. I don't know
Anyway,
though. It's whatever, dude. This is like the regular season is whatever now. It's just we literally maxed out. Like broke the
last
record
year
for points,
we
broke the
maxed.
record for wins,
Yeah,
won the
last year
President's Trophy. Like
we
I don't.
started the playoffs 7-0.
Everything was aligning. President's Trophy. The year ended in the same number, 7-0 playoff run. The guaranteeing of a game. That wasn't the guarantee of a game, but the hat trick in a game that you need to win. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Let's just make it to the playoffs healthy.
10 wins in the playoffs. We need 16. I know everybody knows that, but I just felt right.
We've
Was it? It
gone,
was 10,
we've
right?
gone
Because
to 10. We've gone to 10
they
the last
they won
2 out of
4 and
3 years.
2. Yeah, 8,
We've done it twice.
10.
We've done 10 wins twice.
Yeah, and then 3.
Yeah. That's pretty good, though. I mean, how many teams have won?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good if you're. If that was a no name, if that was the San Jose Sharks doing that, that'd be great.
How many teams won?
23 playoff wins in 3 years.
How many teams won 23 games in the last 3 years in the playoffs?
Not many.
The Rangers have been to the conference final more than any team, I think, in the last like 10 years. I think. They've been to 5 conference finals. How many other teams have done that? The Lightning, maybe the Blackhawks.
Realistic Stanley Cup prediction.
Realistic or like kind of biased?
No, like real. Not. Don't put the Rangers. Like Rangers aren't in the cup. You're realistic cup. And then do one with the Rangers.
Without the Rangers?
Yeah, like Rangers don't make it.
I feel like the Oilers get back again.
You think? I don't. I think the Oilers are done. I think the Oilers are gonna suck. I think last year was playing with. I think last year was that like losing like that, coming all the way back, losing. I think they're done. They're gonna win. I could be wrong, but
I think the Oilers are going to come back. I think they'll be back. I just don't see any other team in the West really challenging them. I mean, I think they don't match up well against the Avalanche. So if they have to play the Avalanche, I think they'd lose.
Who, the Oilers?
Yeah. I don't think the Stars are as good as they were last year. I know they have a lot of young players, but they also lost a lot of veterans. Vegas is I don't know what Vegas is, honestly. They could be in the Stanley Cup Finals next year. And then besides those teams, I don't think any other team has a chance. I think there's 4 teams. It's Oilers, Avalanche, Vegas, and the Stars. No other team in the West has a chance to make the playoff or make the Stanley Cup Finals. I'd probably go with the Oilers again, just because I think they have pretty much the same team in place. But you know, we'll do something different. We'll say Vegas gets it to the Stanley Cup Finals, even though I think they're a little bit older and they lost a couple of players. So we'll go Vegas against
The East is so boring. Like I'm sitting here thinking about teams that could come out of the East.
We'll go Vegas against Boston. I don't know.
Toronto's not getting there.
Yeah,
Tampa's on the way out.
I think Tampa's gonna miss the playoffs.
Yeah, Tampa's their core's on the way out. Pittsburgh's not getting there. Capitals aren't getting there.
No,
The Islanders aren't going to get
I
there.
don't know if the Hurricanes are gonna get there either.
No, the Hurricanes is the same garbage every year with them. They play playoff hockey all year, and then teams play off to that's what that's the Hurricanes formula. The Devils.
Devils aren't a playoff team. They don't have they're not built for the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're a great regular season team, I think, but they're not built for the playoffs.
Red Wings, dark horse.
No, I think the Bruins are a dark horse. I think people again, and they're still a young, like they still have some young good pieces. If I had to choose a team, not the Rangers, I mean,
Florida has
Florida. But do I want to put the Panthers in the finals again, though?
Yeah, I mean, Florida's past. It's pretty. I mean, it should.
I think Florida will probably make it again. It'll probably be like
Florida. They probably will. It'll be Florida, Vegas, 2 years repeat. Yeah,
Florida. Maybe it's Florida against the Stars. I don't know.
Stars, I think, got to get there. They got to get there at some point.
I mean, they made the Cup Finals in 2020.
Yeah, but I'm saying to actually finish it off.
I don't know.
Dark horse team, dark horse Stanley Cup, Red Wings.
No,
just these dark horse.
All right, well, you're your dark horse, but like
dark horse, Red Wings, Jets.
The New York Jets?
No, Winnipeg.
I'm kidding. Obviously, I knew you meant that.
You're not buying into.
Are we gonna get we're gonna get double dip? The New York Jets in February and Winnipeg Jets in June.
You're not buying into back-to-back Connor Hellebuyck, Vezina.
Connor Hellebuyck sucks in the playoffs, though.
He does. But
would you rather have the best goalie in the playoffs or the best goalie in the regular season?
Doesn't matter.
As long they both win anyway, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to win either way. We've had the best goalie in the playoffs. We haven't won. We've had the best goalie in the regular season. We haven't won.
Exactly.
Same thing. Anyway, closing thoughts, parting thoughts. We've spent about 20 minutes just talking about anything.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we kind of went over everything. I mean, again, we're starting to get more things we can talk about as a season. I feel like next week we'll probably have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
As the season, the training camp and the season progresses. We'll definitely. I don't know if we'll do anything as far as the game on Sunday. If we'll have a video on it or whatever, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure we'll do a recap.
We could do. I feel like. I mean, I don't know what time the game is. I have my own game, Coach Joe, obviously. So maybe I can't do anything right after the game. But if there's one of the games where we're both not doing anything, we should go live for one of the, after the game or maybe even during the game. But that's besides the point, though. A lot of content ahead.
Yes, lots of content. Rangers hockey's back. Stanley Cup. Here we come.
Yep. No, we're not going to be disappointed.
It's September. All eyes set on June. How many months is that? Oh my God. Actually, you know what? You got to look at this positive. We've got October, November, December, months, January, right? February, March, April, May,
9 months.
June. Yeah, essentially. Yeah, 10 months of hockey coming up. If this team goes deep in the playoffs, at least 8.
Imagine they missed the fucking playoffs. Jeez.
You got to enjoy the grind of the regular season, hockey on Rangers on every other night.
It is nice. It's a nice thing as as a pastime thing to do. You get home from work, whatever, and you can watch hockey.
And obviously, every regular season game, you're not gonna have a huge impact. A Wednesday night game in January against the Montreal Canadiens is gonna be pretty bland. But there you do get those occasional matchups, of course, where they're going to be playing the Bruins. You'll get the Devils games. You'll get the Panthers. You'll get the Maple Leafs. Obviously, the Islanders always a good battle.
The revenge Barclay Goodrow
Carolina.
Game. The Barclay Goodrow revenge game.
You do get the Barclay Goodrow revenge game. You get the Utah Hockey Club right away. Can't wait. I can't wait for that game. That's a game you circle on the calendar. Home opener against the Utah Hockey Club.
The group Talking Rangers group I.
Yeah.
You, me,
Danny,
and then I'm trying to think. Do we have any regular fans that we have? We probably do. I just can't think
Yeah,
of it.
Talking Rangers Group I, Utah Hockey Club home opener. Be there
Oh my god.
on the
We're
ice after the game.
like
Ice access and Utah Hockey
like,
League.
like the Brat guy. I know he always does like group
Yeah, Brat
things.
Pack.
Yeah.
We got to. Well, maybe we'll do one of those this year.
A Talking Ranger.
You know,
Yeah,
the
it's
only
gotta be
problem is, see, like the Devils, dude, we should do like a takeover at the rack. Or the rack, the rock.
Iraq?
The rack.
The Iraq?
No,
We'll go to
rack.
the
That's Rutgers basketball. The rock.
Yeah.
We should do a takeover at the rock.
Talking Rangers takeover.
Talking Rangers takeover.
Yeah. All right, we're like
TTR.
rambling here.
Talking takeover Rangers.
Let's-
TRT. All
let's
right.
wrap.
We'll catch you later.